guys, and welcome to my breakfast nook. That's where we're sitting today. Ryan and I finally got our breakfast nook in, and okay, first of all, I'm filming on my new vlog camera. It's a Sony, I don't even know. It's one of those cameras, it's a point and shoot. I'm not gonna get into it, but basically I'm filming with this for a reason. Anyway, one of the reasons is to test the quality, which, why am I testing it on my main channel? I don't know. So we're working with a lot of things today, a lot of differences today. Especially after taking a week off, I'm sure you're a little thrown right now, so bear with me. I'm really sweaty, I'm very shiny. I'm normally not shiny, I have dry skin, but I'm very sweaty. It's hot in California right now. Let me know if you like this setting. I'm thinking about filming a lot of my videos here. I'm leaning on a table. Our dining tables here. We went with a breakfast nook because they're cuter and they save space, especially if you're in an apartment. And I don't know why more people don't use breakfast nooks and they have to have a dining table. We got this one on Hay Needle, so if you're interested, you can check it out. I don't know why you would care about our breakfast nook, but if you want to know about it, anyway, we've been building it for multiple days. It's taking forever. It's not like IKEA, let me tell you. So today's video is a little bit, I was debating filming this video for a few reasons. I'll put a timestamp when I actually start this video if you're tired of this intro, but if you care about me, maybe you'll hear out my intro, I don't know. Anyway, I was debating even doing this video because I have seen so many other people do videos on this, especially Tumblr. You know, Tumblr is, you know, it's a talked about topic, right? It's a hot topic. But I had a folder on my desktop that I have had for 3 years. I made this folder, it's called Disgusting. I've had it on my desktop since 2015. That's when I created it. So it's been 3 years chilling on my computer and I never did anything with it. And I looked at it the other day and I was like, should I call attention to this when it's 3 years old? I think it's still relevant. I know Tumblr is still a thing, and I'm gonna get into the differences between that Tumblr versus this Tumblr a little bit. I thought overall we should just talk about it, and it's basically romanticizing depression. And basically what I'm gonna show you is a series of images that are, you know, quotes on top, you know, sad quotes, making depression seem beautiful, I guess. You put it over a photo of a pretty girl and it's like, I don't know. We'll get into the images in a second. Now, do bear in mind that these images are 3 years old from my computer from back in the day on Tumblr. So are they still relevant? I'm not really sure, but I know this stuff still exists. In fact, if anything, I think it's projected a little bit onto Instagram. So I think most of us know that Yahoo actually purchased Tumblr in 2013, and the creator of Tumblr has left the building, and also Yahoo says that that was the worst $1 billion spent or something like that. It was like the worst investment ever because they cannot find a successful way to advertise on Tumblr. But in that, they made a lot of changes. So there are a lot of words that are not allowed to be used on the site. So I don't know if that would affect these images today. I haven't been on Tumblr since I found these photos, to be honest. It just became a lot of the same things, and a lot of it I just kind of grew out of, and a lot of the stuff is toxic. You can't deny that a lot of Tumblr is a toxic place. So I'm not gonna show the most graphic images that I found. I don't even know why I saved them. Was I planning on showing them? Because dear God. But I do wanna give a trigger warning for depression, self-harm, and suicide for these images. I know for me, they're kind of triggering with the depression-esqueness and the suicidality of it. So if that's something that you're very sensitive to, please stop watching this video. I was just bringing awareness to it, and I thought I would provide some examples of what kind of stuff is still out there. Or possibly not still out there. Who knows? Maybe I'm irrelevant. Maybe this video is irrelevant because it's 3 years old, but you know, we're gonna do it anyway. So some of the more subtle stuff that I found, let's see, let me find one. There's a range, I think, of what these images go from, you know. It's some are really graphic self-harm images, some are really disturbing suicide posts. So You know, it does have a range. There's lighter things, such as photos like this, which says, "Can't I just disappear like I was never here?" This one says, "I'm stuck between trying to live my life and trying to run from it. It doesn't matter if I have my eyes opened or closed, I always see the same darkness. The emptiness has hit like a black hole, sucking the life and hope out of me." So these images are not, they're not like straight up mental illness posts. I think all have feelings kind of like this, or like those dark thoughts or depression, sadness. We can feel that without being depressed. I think that's important because it's not that it's necessarily glorifying depression, but it's definitely romanticizing sadness. And to me, someone who is a depressed teen, for instance, who's very susceptible to these kind of posts, of relating to these kind of posts, can kind of be a negative thing. And these can kind of backfire what they're attempting to do. So some other ones that are very disturbing, and the fact that they're edited to be artistic or beautiful, there is nothing, let me just say this loud enough for the people in the back, there's nothing beautiful or artistic about depression, self-harm, or suicide. There's nothing beautiful about it. There's nothing romantic about it. Like, there's one thing to express your emotions in art. That is one thing, right? And I think people are trying that with these forms of art that are being posted on Tumblr, but they're also doing damage in a different way as well by almost promoting it. For instance, I wasn't trying to kill myself, but I knew that if I had gone too far, I wouldn't care. I was sick of saying sorry, so I said goodbye. It's not suicide if you're already dead inside. Suicidal people are just angels who want to go home. This one's really bothersome to me because it very much romanticizes it. This is the perfect photo to represent romanticizing depression. It says, "She took each pill to escape what her life had become until she became numb," which that could be suicide or numbing the pain by getting hyped up on drugs. I don't know. It's a lot of these kind of imagery that is very disturbing to me because of the way that it's edited. It's one thing to feel this way, and it's perfectly normal. I'm not gonna say normal for everyone. If you are feeling this way, you should reach out for help or talk to someone. These aren't normal feelings that you feel on a day-to-day, you know, without a mental illness really accompanying that. I think one of the reasons why, to me, this seems like a toxic thing and influencing in the wrong way is because if a sad teenager who, say, is depressed sees all these posts about suicide and sees the posts as beautiful and artistic, and it's like, maybe that's what suicide is, and that, oh, people will really miss me, or maybe they won't, and why wouldn't I kill myself then in that situation? You know, it just kind of escalates the situation, and it can kind of promote it and glorify it by making it seem almost inspirational. The way these posts are created and the quotes and the imagery and just even the fonts sometimes, it's just like promoting it. I'm not going to show all the self-harm ones because I think that's, you know, a waste. I mean, I'm not going to do that just to trigger people. That seems like a waste of time, but I will read you some of the things. The blood makes me feel a little less alone. Her eyes ran out of tears to shed, so she forced her skin to cry instead. So I'm not going to show those because those can be very triggering, and I don't feel like it's worth showing. I think just reading it to you, you get the vibes. Let me just say that there are some imagery that goes along with those that's disturbing. You know, turning your pain into art is okay. I think that's not necessarily what these people who created these things are trying to do. I think posting things on the internet and receiving that validation is a lot of what we look for. I think these people, you can hear my neighbor walking around upstairs. I mean, these things are relatable enough to a sense that if they're on Tumblr, there's a whole community out there that does this and romanticizes depression, self-harm, and suicide. So they know they're going to get validation in their art, in their edits of what they do. You know, they'll take screenshots or GIFs from movies or shows and overlay quotes on top of them and make them beautiful and like artsy. And I think sometimes it just goes too far. I think there's a way to discuss mental illness and share your pain, even through art, but I don't think Tumblr is the place to do that. There's a lot of impressionable people on Tumblr. However, I did talk to a 15-year-old the other day. She didn't know what Tumblr was, so maybe that's a good thing. So I want to read to you some quotes that I saw online when I was reading some articles about Tumblr and this romanticizing depression phenomenon. This one is on Thought Catalog, although I don't have the original link. I can try to find it. It says, so when a mentally ill teenager signs into Tumblr and sees a dashboard full of other mentally ill teenagers, it's not a cure, but a danger. A culture has developed that idolizes mental illness and encourages self-harm, self-medication, and even at times ending it all and becoming immortalized as a romantically tragic soul. It can feed into the attitude that has become more and more prevalent that doing the raw, tedious, unexciting, and difficult work of therapy is not the answer. That embracing mental illness, glorifying it as a tragedy, and staying insulated in a community where no one will ever tell anyone that mental illness is not a way to live is the answer. And I think that quote is so profound and exactly what I'm trying to get across in this video. It's cool that they have a support system in this isolated group on Tumblr. I don't think Tumblr is the place to go for your mental illness treatment or group therapy. If you need support, you need to find it. You could do it online, but there are other resources out there, and a lot of Tumblr support systems are toxic. I'm sorry, they are. You might have met your best friend on Tumblr. I don't mean to bash the whole website as a whole. I'm just saying I've seen a lot of pro-anorexia posts and pro-self-harm, pro-suicide, encouraging self-harm, and eating disorder behaviors. And that, to me, is so disturbing. I don't think everyone out there on Tumblr has your best interest at heart, and if you're a teenager, my neighbor is so loud. If you're a teenager who is already feeling very vulnerable, you're going to listen to your peers more than adults or therapists trying to help you. It's easier for other teens and other people of your age to impact your life decisions and your mental health and whether or not you should seek treatment. I already did a whole video on the anti-treatment group on Tumblr, which that was an interesting video. The response is also very interesting. I will link that video up here because a lot of people are anti-recovery. And this doesn't necessarily go hand in hand with that, but I think they are related. A lot of people do think that suicide is the only answer, or that, you know, self-harm is the only answer and that is the cure, or being online on Tumblr, that's the cure because you have all these supportive people in your life and they're going to help you through your mental illness. But I don't think that's the case. I think they're not always the best people to come to for your mental illness issues. Here's another quote that I don't know what article this is. I'm going to try to find these articles. I'm so sorry, but I'll put a picture of the quote as I'm reading it for you guys. This online cultivation of beautiful sadness is easy to join. Anyone can take a picture, turn it black and white, pair it with a quote about misunderstood turmoil, and automatically be gratified with compassion and pity. And this readily accessible sea of dark poetry could easily drown out those whose suffering has reached the clinical level. During the vulnerable years, during which adolescents seek out self-affirmation and recognition from others, this new easy promise of being recognized as strong, beautiful, and mysterious by Tumblr followers can be very tempting. Too often it just leads to more teenagers believing and feeling they are depressed, self-pitying, and self-harming. This quote kind of takes a different angle towards the situation. It's looking at it as maybe not all of these people are depressed clinically or, you know, have a mental illness, but they are promoting it because that is what gets likes, that's what gets reblogs and stuff on Tumblr, right? You get a lot of attention when you post this kind of stuff. And that's very self-validating, and it just, I mean, let's be real, it feels good to get that from other people, even people you don't know. So the romanticizing isn't just done by people who actually feel clinically depressed and could be diagnosed with a mental illness, but also a lot of people in the general public that do not have those actual feelings of those and still participating in the creation of art, in the creation of these posts to encourage those emotions. And I'm talking a lot about teenagers because I think they are the most susceptible, although I don't know how many of them are actually on Tumblr nowadays. Back in 2013, I think it was, or 2015 was a little bit more prevalent that teenagers were on there. I think they're kind of growing out of Tumblr, as Tumblr I think is just dying down as a website because, you know, Yahoo is like regretting their purchase, the owner's backing out, so it's like a whole thing, you know. The main group of people who are using Tumblr are young people, whether that be young teenagers, older teens, young 20s. They're just in the younger category of people. So that's kind of my spiel on why I don't support these kind of images, even though sometimes I'm sure there are better intentions behind them and just creating art and expressing your pain through art. I get that. But Tumblr, I think, has just become this place where people go to express their mental illnesses and to support one another, and it's just, I don't see that working for mental illness treatment. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this. If you feel similar or you disagree with me completely, that's totally fine. Please leave your opinions down below. And let me know what you think about my breakfast nook setup. We can film here all the time or once in a while. I don't know. I just did not like the backgrounds that were going on in my past videos. I'm sorry, I just did not. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure to leave some video requests down below of what you want me to film next, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.